Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Chris Lloyd, and I'm here to talk about Tulane School Professional Advancement and our Information Technology program. I'm joined today by Professor Ralph Russo. We'll give a little bit more depth to our introductions here in a moment, but I wanted to sort of talk through our agenda for today and go over different some of the different fields that we'll be covering. So first, we're going to talk about who Tulane is. So that's a little bit about the history of Tulane SOPA and a little bit about our learning model. And then we'll talk about what we offer, which specifically today is going to be our information technology program, how we support student success. And then we'll actually get into those logistical pieces about how you apply, what the cost of tuition and attendance is, and then we'll have room for a Q&A at the end. So if any questions come up along the way, please use those chat or Q&A functions so that we can make sure we cover the content that's going to be really important to you. So I briefly introduced myself before, but my name is Chris Lloyd. I'm an admissions associate here at Tulane SOPA. So I work really closely with all of our prospective students. So if you're still evaluating or you start an application, I'm going to be your primary point of contact. And then when you start to get into those more detailed sort of questions about course content and program structure, that's where our guest, Professor Ralph Russo, is going to be the content expert. Professor Russo, could you give us a little bit of background here so the students are familiar with you?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ralph Russo, as Chris mentions. I am the director of information technology programs at Tulane SOPA. I have a background in industry for many years in multiple areas of information technology, systems, programming, uh, application development as a means of programming, cybersecurity, and I now run the information technology programs at Tulane. So I'm here to give you a little overview and answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Professor Russo. And something I also wanted to call out for our guests is that we've recently changed from the applied computing program to the information technology program. So that's why you might still see some of those references in there. So for those of you who might have known us under that applied computing banner, we wanted to make sure that you guys know about that change to our program. So to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of an overview about Tulane and Tulane SOPA, initially Tulane was founded in 1834. And from there, Tulane really grew its offerings. And in 1886, you had the first continuing education classes offered. So these were courses that were made available to adult learners in our community. And it was really a way to expand our offerings and be able to give more opportunities for people in the community to get access to some of these high quality courses and instructors that we have. So while we have changed a lot since that 1886 launch, the changes have mainly been to continue the spirit of that initial launch. So we want to make sure that we have programs that are going to be applicable and practical to adult learners, to really any learners out there who are looking to develop more skills that are going to be able to help them in their professional role or towards the role that they're aiming to move into. So part of that involved the relaunch to being the School of Professional Advancement in 2017. You may have known us previously as Continuing Studies or University College. When we relaunched in 2017, our focus was on offering more of those practical and applied programs. And part of that is also changing the delivery model we use. So we have 6 online master's degrees that can be completed entirely online. And then the majority of our bachelor's degree coursework can be completed online as well. So if you're someone where you're a distance learner and you've already got some of those credits completed, you may be able to complete a bachelor's degree entirely online. With a master's degree, you can certainly complete those entirely online. And then we've also retooled some of our offerings. So part of that is we've launched new programs that are sort of emerging fields. So with the information technology program, you've got the change to being having the split in concentrations between information technology and cybersecurity, where Professor Russo is going to go into depth about what those differences are. But the cybersecurity program concentration is really a way for people to be able to get a skill that's in high demand right now. And you'll see that with a lot of our other offerings too, where we have certificate, post-baccalaureate, and graduate programs in fields that have positive job growth and in industries that are really, really in demand right now. So I talked a little bit about a delivery model where you have that combo of online or on campus. With the online programming, that's largely going to be with the master's level or the graduate level, although you can take bachelor's level courses online. Typically, your core classes like your math, your English, your science are going to be those in-person courses. And then once you get into those higher level courses, that's where you have more of those options for online programming. Typically, our courses are going to be set up to where they're offered during the evening. There are also daytime courses offered as well. And then with the online format, you've got those asynchronous or synchronous courses. So an asynchronous course is going to allow you to be able to log in and view the session at a time that's going to be better for you versus logging in at a time that's more like going into a classroom. So that synchronous model, you would have that live interaction with your professor, with the other users who are logged in and are students in the classroom. With that asynchronous, it's going to be better for those of you who might have really difficult obligations in terms of your working hours to where you can't log in at a specified time. So it really gives you flexibility to be able to take on the coursework at the time and the delivery model that's going to be most effective for you. So I want to go ahead and turn it over to Professor Russo so he could talk with a little bit of depth about what the offerings are. Professor Russo, could you tell our viewers today a little bit more about our program? Professor Russo, you're muted right now.
Thank you, Chris. We offer two master's programs currently. One is an MPS in Information Technology Management, and one is an MPS in Cybersecurity Management. They're both management degrees, and our bachelor's degree is a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. And I want to stop there and say, if you're looking for a program, whether it's a master's level or bachelor's program, there are differences. And part of my job today is to try to tell you who we are so that you can make an educated decision. There are a lot of computer science booths. We have an information technology management master's degree, and we have an undergraduate degree in information technology. You notice the wording difference between that and computer science. And not everybody wants to be a scientist. Not everybody wants to be a researcher. So a lot of people want to work in industry and lend value across that spectrum of positions. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move through. But I'm here to remind you that I'm glad you joined, and you being discerning is going to be your friend here. And my job is to tell you where we differ from perhaps other institutions. So we offer if you're here for the Bachelor of Science program, we offer 5 concentrations. One is app development, product and program support, which is really the governance and administrative wrapper around a lot of the highly technical fields, such as project management, program management, product ownership, Scrum Master, the governance around that, people who work in risk management, those kind of folks. Then we got system and network and admin, cloud and virtualization, and cybersecurity. Those are all of our bachelor's concentrations. In addition, we have at the graduate level, we have concentrations and certificates there. At the graduate level, we have if you're in the IT management program, we have a cybersecurity concentration. So you can take an IT management degree and without taking extra courses, get a lot of cybersecurity knowledge. And then we've also got Homeland Security concentrations in each of the 2 master's programs, and emergency management as well in each of the 2 programs. We offer also graduate certificates, which are 100% online. And I should say our master's programs are 100% online. Our undergraduate program offers both online and on-ground experiences. So in terms of graduate certificates, we have cyber defense and cyber leadership. The cyber defense is a little bit leaning more towards the technical, the leadership more towards the governance. And then in the IT management program, we've got the IT strategic planning certificate, which leans more towards the governance, and the technology architecture certificate, which leans more towards the technical. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. The last thing I want to say on this slide is if you're here and you don't have an IT undergraduate degree and you want to get into a master's program and you don't have the requisite industry experience, we can still work with you on kind of getting a requisite set of courses for you to take that will act as a bridge into our graduate program. So if you're here and you don't have that requisite background, stay with us because we can bridge you in. Thanks, Chris. So the program of study here at Tulane SOPA in my department is we offer these courses that incorporate industry relevant knowledge and as the slide says, grounding in liberal arts. That's at the undergraduate level. I would say this though, all of my programs allow you to do allow you to look at the academic and the applied. Academically, we're 100% aligned with ABET and ACM, which are two. One is a major accreditation agency, the other one is a major industry group. We're 100% aligned to their recommended curriculum academically. Applied, we offer over 200 plus labs. We have partnerships with CompTIA and Amazon Web Services to get you professional certificates so that when you leave our programs, you not only have this great Tulane academic degree, you also have professional certifications if you choose. And so these are important things. We go for academic, where we're solidly in the top of in the leadership part of that. We are completely aligned to ACM and ABET, their recommendations for solid academic information technology programs. And at the same time, we're also applied. You'll be hands-on with virtual labs, over 200 of them, so that you learn the technical part of it. You'll be getting professional certifications if you choose to, right as part of your degree, to not additional courses. So these things we think are important to be both applied and academic. Why do you need academic at all, for that matter? Well, why can't you just go out and get a bunch of certifications and go to work? The reason for that is, first of all, that's a big answer. But the small answer I could give you on that is that by learning technology from an academic perspective, the underpinnings, the evolution of technology, you will then be able, once you know that, you'll then be able to change as the technical changes. Professional certifications are great, but they prepare you for one thing at one time. Academic education prepares you in the domain, even as things change. And that goes for getting your master's degree as well as your undergraduate degree. You should have both the academic underpinnings as well as the applied type things, hands-on certifications. You're a full Tulane student as long as you're here and you're connected to the worldwide network of our alumni. That includes whether you're on ground or whether you're an online student, doesn't matter. As an alumni, you'll be using our alumni app to connect up to a gigantic network across the country and across the world. You're welcome on campus anytime, online, on ground. You could use our facility. Our library literally has millions of digital articles, books, periodicals that you're always welcome to. You're welcome to come in and use the library. We have student space in the School of Professional Advancement, which you're welcome to come in and use. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the faculty in a minute. The last thing I want to say on this slide is that we've got special things for you to do here as well, which we think separate us from other schools. So if you're female, we can hook you up from day one with an industry executive who wants to mentor you in terms of getting used to the information technology industry. That's what we do for our female students. Additionally, we have a cyber competition team. Cyber competition team, totally voluntary, goes out and competes against other schools. And so you could be graduate level or undergraduate level, and you could take a course which counts towards your degree to prepare you to be on that voluntary cyber competition team. We hold events like a robotic automation events where you learn to create efficiencies through robotic RPA. It's called robotic process automation. We're planning for a capture the flag event right now. Some of these things can be done from a distance, like cyber competition team. You won't have to physically be in New Orleans for that. So we've kind of got this bunch of other stuff going on, which I think is pretty exciting as well. This slide, we've got some career options limited, and you can take a look at that. What I would say about it, and it's accurate, but what I would say about it is this: that is just a small slice of a very large amount of jobs that you will be prepared for, pointed towards. Your degree will apply towards. This is just a small amount of positions. You can never list all the positions open out there that require what you'll learn in my programs. So the second part of that is, of course, you won't walk out with a bachelor's degree and walk in and become the CIO of a company or CISO of a company. That's kind of a combination of things. It's your academic education. It has to do with experience, and it has to do with certification. And we're going to give you a lot of that. We're going to get you the academic underpinnings. We're going to get you the certification if you choose to. And then I maintain a jobs program where I have relationships with dozens of IT firms, both in and out of New Orleans, where they send me job listings before they go anywhere else, and I send them out to my students. In the last 48 hours, I've sent job opportunities for 3 different roles, and one of those opportunities was for multiple students. So that's in the last 48 hours. So we've got a kind of a robust in-house kind of relationship-based jobs thing going, where my students get notified of jobs up front. So we like to think that that's a benefit to what we're doing here. So given that, Chris, if you can go to our next slide, I want to talk a little bit more before we talk about your support and success. I want to talk to you about the courses you'll be taking, because if I was participating in this webinar, I would want to know what makes this different at the course level. The first thing is the faculty. Your faculty are current executives in the IT industry, whether that's a lawyer who does cybersecurity, insurance, claims, a lawyer who does patents on technology. We have an attorney who teaches our cyber law and policy class. He does this every day at work. If we're going to teach you about a governance class, we've got an executive manager from the IT group at the City of New Orleans who teaches our IT governance course. And this is all the way through. The instructor who teaches our pen testing courses, as well as our auditing courses and our response courses, these people work in cybersecurity in industry at high level. So they're going to take what they did in the boardroom at 8 a.m. and give it to you that same day, whether online or on ground. And they're available to you to ask real questions, and they're available to turn the academic learning into real application. Well, Scrum, Agile Scrum says do this, and here's why you do that in the real world, and here's what happens if you don't do that. That's the type of learning we emphasize here. And so our entire faculty is, with several exceptions, myself included, are full-time in industry. I think that's a pretty big differentiator than learning from somebody who knows the academic side but who's only seen the academic side. Our courses, whether on ground or online, the way we build them, I think, matters to you. When we build a course, whether at the undergraduate level or at the graduate level, we bring in a subject matter expert in the field concerned. So if we're building a pen testing course, we bring in a subject matter expert on the technical aspects of penetration testing, and they help build the course along with a PhD instructional designer, because those people are subject matter experts in how to develop courses that are meaningful to you, how you learn best based on studies, based on best practice. So we put those two together, and they build you a course that is real world, informed by somebody who knows the technology inside and out, but is built in such a way to make it the best way for you to learn. Then we include media and graphics in that course, whether on ground or online, so that the courses are compelling. and then we pour all of that into a course built for you. I think that makes a difference. You know, we have a Lightboard studio and we have a video studio, and we bring top-notch type of media to your courses as well, because uh, this stuff is sometimes it takes some work to learn this stuff, and we want to bring it to you in a way that makes it as easy as possible and as bite-sized as possible. Uh, Another thing I wanted to talk about is uh, in order to make this easier for you to learn, we've built a fake company. And when I say we built a fake company, it's just not just a name. It's got a mission statement. It's got an employee structure and an org chart. It's got products. It's got a website. If you go to southbalance.com, SOUTHBALANCE.com, if you go to southbalance.com, you can see the company there and see Tulane's name in the upper left-hand corner. This company has offices, fake offices in multiple countries, multiple locations. This company has an infrastructure which we've built virtually on our network, so that and then this company has IT problems, and your job as a student is going to use your academic knowledge to help them solve their IT problems. We're opening up a European office. What do we need to know about GDPR before we go live in Europe? Well, how will that affect our company from a litigation perspective, from a risk perspective, so on and so forth. So we've built this entire structure to make it easier for you to consume this material, and we think that the way we've done it is the best way for you to learn. So there are differences. All online is not the same. All universities are not the same. So I would ask you to kind of think about that before you do that, before you make a decision. We think, and then career advising. We've got a career coach who helps you build a resume if you need it, cover letters, interview skills. She's available to my students any and all the time. Every time I send out a job notice to my students, I make sure I include her information so she can help folks with that. She's fantastic. And we've also got full-time academic advisement staff that help you, if you want that help, to help you pick your courses, to help you track your degree progress, to help give you advice. And as the program director, myself or my associate director, Dr. Bill Riles, we're around to help you make decisions if you don't understand the technical aspect, or if you want to build a course structure using your electives to lean one way or the other, to concentrate, even unofficially to concentrate. I'm available to help you do that, and of course to help you with any issues that come up while you're a student here. So we think, and I think, that this is a program that is worth your attention, whether it's undergraduate or a graduate degree, because we spent a lot of work and a lot of time building something with you in mind. That's who we thought of when we built it. What can we pour into this that's best for you, that's worthy of the Tulane brand? Because the Tulane brand is a very strong brand. Check U.S. News and World Report or anywhere else you want. Tulane brand is a very strong brand. We make sure that what we produce is worthy of that brand. And I think, as Chris will tell you, we're actually super competitive in terms of price as well. So, Chris, do I have another one coming up?
No, sir. Professor Russo, you have covered a lot of content here. So I wanted to take a moment, sort of recap some of these student success pieces, because I think these are really an important differentiation that Tulane has, and that Tulane SOPA specifically has. So from my own experience, I attended a large state school where getting access to my academic advisors was difficult. It would take weeks. Often the sessions would feel really hurried, and I wouldn't get that level of personalization. And that's not something I see students experience here. Our advisors offer their services in a multimodal ways. So you can get in touch with them either through like the Zoom teleconferencing platform, like what you're watching on right now, in person, via phone, via email, and having those different opportunities to connect with them, whether it be that in-person live experience where you can have that conversational effect, or that delayed thoughtful response with an email. That's where it's really powerful because you actually get services that are adapted to your learning style. So if you are a distance learner who's coming in and you're taking classes from somewhere else in the United States or outside of the United States, you might have odd hours and not be able to access a typical academic advisor. So being able to get through to them relatively quickly and be able to get a response in a variety of ways is going to be really helpful for your long-term goals, because it's going to really give you an opportunity to get that feedback that you may not be getting regularly. And when you're pairing that with the feedback you're getting from your instructors and from people like Professor Russo, who are the program directors, it's really giving you an opportunity to get a dynamic education. You're getting something that's going to be personalized to you and also reflective of what your goals and concentrations are. And having a really expert faculty that has a wide range of backgrounds and work in the field is just another way to really ensure that you're getting something that's current and that you're also getting something that's going to have value when you graduate. So Professor Russo really hit on something important here, which is our career advising. So Miss Cynthia Washington is our career advisor just for Tulane SOPA students. And you get that access to her network as well as the network that's being passed on via our professors and our faculty. So you have a huge network there that you can tap into, but you also have someone who's helping to tailor how you're selling yourself. So you're really getting something that's going to be a one-on-one opportunity to learn how to sell yourself, present a resume in the best possible format, find internships. And these are the sort of things that are going to help to ensure that you're successful. And if you're really taking advantage of these opportunities, you're going to find that there's a lot of great growth potential there, because you're getting access to things that are just right there within reach. And there's someone who knows that pathway to be able to help you to tackle it. So part of that is starting your application. So once you actually start that application on our website, sopa.tulane.edu, so sopa.tulane.edu, you'll click on that green Apply Now button. Once you go in there, it should be a pretty quick application process for undergraduates. Typically, you would have an application fee, but we're going to waive that for you because you attended and gave us some of your time today. Otherwise, for an undergraduate, what you do is you put in a clear photo of a government-issued ID. You put in a detailed academic history about any schools that you've graduated from or attended, so basically from high school on. And then if you have transcripts from those schools, you'll want to go ahead and submit those to us as well. So with the transcripts, you can submit them either digitally or physically. You'll also want to be able to submit any of those extra questions that are being asked of you. So at the graduate level, you're going to be asked to fill out these statements of purpose. Those really help to give us the context about your personal journey and your aspirations. And they're also a way for us to be able to tell what's the quality of your writing. Because you're going to be going into a program where you're going to have a lot of reading and writing requirements, and being able to take the synthesis of that and produce something is going to be very important. So if you've got a degree in the field, that's going to give you a really good base for tackling these graduate programs. And if you don't have a degree in the field, that's where maybe that professional experience you have is going to have added weight. Because not everyone is going and working in an industry that is directly aligned with what they got their degree in. So some people end up getting that significant professional experience that really offsets that maybe they have a BA in a very different major. Generally, what we're looking for in terms of GPA is a GPA of 3.0 or higher. This can be offset by your professional experience. So if you're maybe someone where you've served in the military performing these functions at a really high level, then that may be something that helps to offset having a degree outside of the field. Otherwise, the only other pieces you'll have to provide are that resume or CV along with those application answers. So with that, it's going to give that other context that we need about your professional experience. So having great depth there and really letting us know about certifications you've earned, really specific details about the workflow that you were in. Those are the things that are really going to help us to understand where you're coming from. And if we do have a situation where we want to get more of that context, we'll also set up an interview with you so that there's always opportunities for you to be able to really express what your passion is and give us that context for your background. So when you are actually submitting those transcripts, we do prefer an electronic transcript you can send that to soparecords@tulane.edu. But if you're one of those people where you've recently gotten a sealed copy of your transcript, you can also provide those to us at our Tulane SOPA office on our Elmwood campus. That's 800 East Commerce Road, Suite 100, Harahan, Louisiana, and the zip code is 70123. With any sealed transcripts you're providing us, they still need to bear that sticker or signature of the registrar. And then if you are ordering transcripts, you can also send them to that address as well. Let us know if you're sending them, and there's going to be, let us know if you're sending them, and then that way we're able to keep a lookout for them in the event that maybe they're sent to the wrong campus, or if there's an issue with the mailing. So if you've submitted and it's a couple weeks since you've heard back about a transcript, definitely follow up with us. We don't want anyone to have any unintentional delays added to their review process. A typical application that's submitted in full is going to be getting reviewed within 24 to 48 hours, and then you should expect an official admissions decision within 5 to 7 business days. So you have a pretty quick timeline for actually applying and getting that admissions decision. So anything that you can do that helps to expedite that is just going to get you an admissions decision much quicker. So the deadlines for application are coming up. You've still got a bit of time for spring. The January 1st deadline is for undergraduate and graduate. That's going to be an application that's submitted in full, so that we have all the transcripts we require. You submitted personal statements, and we have, if you have any in-progress coursework, we've got the final transcripts from those as well. If you need a little bit more time because you're finishing out a program, that's where that summer deadline might be a little bit of a better fit for you, with an August 15th deadline. I'm sorry, that actually should be a May 15th deadline, and then the fall application deadline is August 15th. So once again, sorry, just jump forward there. The summer application deadline is actually May. So please take note of that. If you have any questions about the deadlines, either reach out to me or review our website. Now for those logistical pieces about tuition and financial aid, for spring 2020, you're looking at an undergraduate course, undergraduate cost of $474 per credit hour. And then for the graduate level, you're looking at $1,039 per credit hour. So if you're looking at other schools in the region or other schools with a big emphasis on online programming, you're not going to find a lot in that price range that has this level of prestige. You're walking out with a Tulane degree. There's no comma. There's no colon saying School of Professional Advancement. There's nothing that makes your degree any different than a Tulane University degree that's earned anywhere else on this campus. We offer financial aid assistance to help pay for those costs for students who qualify. So that's going to be that typical FAFSA that you would fill out with any other school. So with that, you qualify for federal grants, federal loans. And then beyond that, we also offer discounts for our active duty military, veterans, first responders, and then Orleans and Jefferson Parish employees. So if you fall into any of those buckets, it's very likely that you have an opportunity to reduce that cost of tuition. And if you are a veteran, something that may also be helpful for you is we have yellow ribbon scholarships. So we have over 30 of those scholarships. They're available to veterans who are officially separated from their service unit. So whether that means you're retired or whatever your circumstance is, you'll want to check in and see if you qualify. But with that, it can make up for any shortfall between the cost of attendance and your GI Bill or whatever educational benefits you're using. So you can effectively attend for a zero out-of-pocket cost if you're qualifying for that yellow ribbon scholarship. So that's a huge help for our military service members. And it really is a great way to get a prestigious degree at a price point that's going to be beneficial to you. So one of the things that you may have seen on an earlier slide was credits for prior learning. So credits for prior learning is a really great way to reduce your cost of tuition and leverage that professional experience to get through your degree a little bit quicker. So the basic way that this works is that at an undergraduate or graduate level, you take a portfolio class where you're essentially taking whatever skills or certifications or professional experiences you have, and you're presenting those in a way where they can be compared against the course offering. And what that allows you to do is you can earn credits for that work experience, community service, military training. And at the undergraduate level, it can be really powerful. You can receive up to 24 credits from this. 24 credits is a little over a fifth of a bachelor's degree. So if you're able to take a year off of your journey by taking a portfolio class that rewards you for the experience that you have, then that can be a great way to really cut down on that time to completion. Graduate students receive up to 6 credits. With graduate level portfolios, it's really going to depend on the program and the program director about the applicability of it. With undergraduate, that's where you're going to be working with your academic advisor to help you determine that. And you're also going to be working with our director of the credits for prior learning, Dalila Omerbasic. So if you have questions about whether or not you may qualify for that, definitely connect with me, and I can help you connect with Dr. Omerbasic, who can really help to evaluate whether or not you would receive credits or whether or not those portfolio assessments would be a good way for you to expedite your time here. So we've thrown a lot at you guys so far, and I wanted to make sure that we give time for some of the questions that we've had raised so far. So I see that Professor Russo has been going through and responding to these questions that have come through. So is there anyone else that has anything that they want to make sure we cover, or any topics that are going to be really important before we wrap up? If you do, just use that chat or Q&A function. While you guys are thinking and really evaluating whether or not you have any questions, I just wanted to give a couple of recaps of some of what we've covered that I think are the really important highlights. One of those is the flexibility of our programming. So one piece of that is the delivery model. So online, in-person, hybrid, daytime and evening classes. And then also the flexibility of once you're in the program and getting that responsive feedback. So you're able to get that tailored feedback that's going to really help to direct you towards what classes you should take, what internships may be a good fit for you, what coursework is going to be the best fit for your educational journey and for your professional aspirations. So having something that personalized and that actually is adapting to what you need is going to be huge.
Hey, Chris, on that note, one thing I should have mentioned was that our online courses are largely asynchronous. And what that means, asynchronous, is that you log on to do your schoolwork when you have time. So that means if you work till 2 a.m. and you want to come home and do schoolwork, you log on into your course using our learning management system, and you do your schoolwork. And when I say largely asynchronous, we usually have a built-in synchronous milestones along the way through every course to make sure that students can ask live questions and see other students through the learning management system, through this tool right here, Zoom. You don't have to go anywhere. So it's largely asynchronous with some synchronous sessions throughout, was usually once every 3 weeks or a month, to make sure students can ask questions, that the instructor could get to know you, you could get to know the other students, and make sure everybody's on the same page. So it's pretty flexible, and it's very flexible in terms of you being able to pursue degrees while you work full time, or whatever those hours are. I worked nights for many years, and something like this would make it relatively simple to still get a degree while working shift work or just a regular 9-to-5 job. So I wanted to call that out as well.
So it looks like we have a couple of questions from Ramesh. So to speak generally about your first question about time for courses, typical courses are going to be about 2 hours and 50 minutes. We'll meet once a week. So with an online course, that would mean you would have coursework, like homework, that you're responsible for on top of whatever that class meeting is. So with it being an asynchronous course, your actual course time may be a little bit shorter, and you may have more homework requirements or more projects and project-based learning. With a typical in-person class, that 2 hours, 50 minutes is going to be really typical. You would meet at our Elmwood location if it's a physical course. If it's online, that's where you would just use your Canvas account, which is the student system where you'd be able to log in and view your coursework, your discussion boards, all of that. If you mean more time to completion for coursework, then that's where it's really going to depend on your pacing. So if you're able to be a full-time student, At the master's level, that's where you can look at a shorter time frame to being able to get your degree. But if you're on a typical pacing where you're looking at 1 to 2 courses, then that's where it's really going to be dependent on how many courses you're taking in a given year. So taking advantage of like summer semesters and things like that. As far as international students, we do not sponsor visas. International students can certainly attend with us, but we don't have that ability to be your sponsor and actually bring you to the US or provide that ability for you to get any sort of funding. So if you are an international student, you're going to be dependent on your own sources of income or being able to pay for your own coursework. And if you're an international student who's in the US and already sponsored and have that ability to take courses with us, then it's going to be relatively simple for you to get in and actually take those courses with us. So it looks like we've covered just about everything. If anything comes up after this session, we're going to be distributing an email with a link to this video. So if there's anything that maybe you missed at the beginning or was unclear, you're able to rewatch it. But you've also got my information here on the screen as well and in the message that's going to be going out. So anything that comes up afterwards, please make sure you're following up with me or with Professor Russo. Professor Russo can be reached at rrusso@tulane.edu. So that's rrusso@tulane.edu. He is the content expert, so he is going to be an amazing source for you to learn more about this dynamic and wonderful program. Professor Russo, do you have any final thoughts you want to share?
No, I would just reiterate that we talked about some differentiators between our programs and others. Like everything else, do your homework, make sure that the program you pick is right for you and your goals and your dreams. We like to think we've built a program that's flexible, it's deep academically, it's deep from an applied. You won't graduate never having put your hands on technology. You'll be completely versed in applied type skills, but while getting a Tulane academic degree. So we think we built something special, but I guess you're the best person to answer that. So make your decision and let us know.
And one final thing I did want to mention is that as long as you are submitting the application using the same email address you registered for this event with, you will receive that application fee waiver. It'll be automatically detected and applied. If you run into a situation where you're seeing it not applied, reach out to me directly and I'll ensure that you don't pay that application fee.
So they don't need a code then?
No, there's no code. Just for registering with us, you'll be automatically receiving that and the system should pick it up. So once again, I just wanted to thank everyone for giving us a little bit of your day, watching us talk about these really exciting programs. But I really want to make sure I'm conveying enough that you guys should do the homework and really research and evaluate the program and connect with people like Professor Russo. His content expertise is going to be essential in helping you determine if the program is a right fit for you. So thank you once again, everyone, for your time. And thank you, Professor Russo.
You're welcome, and thanks for joining, everybody. I appreciate it.